Wah. Maha. Wow. Hello everyone, happy Saturday morning. Good morning. Magandang umaga. I was supposed to say magandang gabinka yesterday, but I didn't. Hello, good morning everyone. How you guys doing? I just finished my voice warm-ups. I finished my tongue twisters. They were harder this morning, maybe because I wasn't like properly warmed up. Or I was properly warmed up last night, but now I am warmed up. So the tongue twisters didn't feel as difficult. I still can't say dismisseth though. Dismisseth. Did I just do it right now? Dismisseth. But hello, how are you guys doing? How you guys doing? It's a chill study day today. We're chilling and we're studying today. Who do we got here? We got Seribot, our rock. We got Folk, you got your sticker, hello. You got Peck School, you got your sticker, hello. Hello everyone. How you doing? We're learning about dinosaurs today. Are you guys excited? Well, I'm gonna try my best to teach dinosaurs. I guess I'll run through what it is we're doing today in the class. Get to class. Hello. I'm PNGTuber today. I'm PNGTuber because we're running a couple of programs. Today we're running GOGH. Van Gogh. But also, also, take a look. Oh. Take a look. PawCam. That's right. We're running the PawCam today because I'll be writing notes and whatnot. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna have the cam running the entire time while I'm doing study, but we can also just chill in GOGH for today. Gasp! I know, right? Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen the classroom already, let me just make sure I can see you guys on my second screen. This program, GOGH, is one of those productivity ones, very similar to On Together. Trying to think of other programs that are similar, but they're the ones that kind of support this idea of like productivity, like a Pomodoro timer, has like a task list and all that stuff. It is also one of those programs where you can join in if you have the program. The only thing is the program is not free. Unlike On Together, where it is free, so people could just, you know, join in at their will. You have to already have Go in order to join in the classroom. Which, like, you know, I don't want to, like, critique the devs who work so hard and, you know, should get their pay back, you know? But it's like, that does limit how many people can join our classroom here. What I do like is that there's a lot of customization, because look, I made a classroom. I made the Babinka classroom, so we can even take a look around it. If you guys weren't here last week, we have our wall of clocks, none of which have the proper orientation, of course. One of them does have my face on it. So that's a pull. We have our art history wall over here. I'm gonna keep on adding art to this. I just was too lazy to do so today. We have my desk. It's a standing desk because I do need it for my back. We don't have any pictures set up on the iPad though. Not yet, at least. Your guys' desks, you know, we have a wide variety of desks. And me. There's my character here in GOGH. So we have like, you know, some desks with some dirty paperwork, some manga, if you will. And I know you will. Skizzers. Ramen, cup. Oh, I actually am hungry. I actually didn't have breakfast today. We have cup noodles here. We have some paint supplies. I tried to add as much character to the room as I could. Cute. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We also have your little cubby holes. Not all of them are filled yet. I couldn't quite decide what to fill them with. More cup noodles if you need them. I was considering like putting a fridge here if we can afford it. Is that a phone? Yeah, the little flip phone with my pixels on it. Hey, bye guys, the cunes, they're running your way. Bakune, hearts racing with you. No phones allowed in class. I know, right? This is in fact the phone. I should change that redeem image to like a flip phone since the smartphone doesn't work anyway. Can you imagine playing Uba Musume on like a flip phone? But yeah, I was thinking like maybe I should put like a fridge here or something. Actually, because what's here right now is it's a little basketball court with my face on it. You gotta have the branding, right? You just gotta. We also have the little cub corner. I might just change that to like a fridge, and maybe this will be like the little food area for you guys, so that you guys won't eat the cars. Why are you throwing things at me? Why are you throwing things? I'm your cute little teacher. Why would you do such a thing? Here's the cub corner. I did change it up a little bit since the last time. I think I moved the painting easel over here so that if you want to also paint the outdoors, you can. Even though I don't think there's an option yet. If you do have GOGH and you're able to join, I was thinking like, oh, maybe there's like a way to like actually paint on here, but alas, there isn't. You could sit like, if I want, I can like sit down at any of these. Oh, yeah, I could like sit down here. I think I will. Yeah, unfortunately, I do glitch into the desk, but you know. Let's see, they're different. There we go. This way I'm not. I'm still kind of glitching into the desk. There we go. I'm studying alongside y'all. I could also put myself to like lie down here with my copy of Jurassic. Wait, how do I make myself not sit? Hello? Hello? There we go. Let's have me laying down. Be on a Saturday morning. Or me on any day where I don't have to like lock into work, you know? With my copy of Jurassic Park right here as well. You'll love to see it. But yeah, so like that's the classroom so far. I tried to it's not a lot of like room per se, but I tried to add as much character as I could into it with the customization that they offer. I think that man that is you know. Oh, you know what? I know where to add this. Maybe let's see if I can we can do some decoration before we get into the studying. Maybe we'll add this. Wait, can we edit? Edit. We'll add it over the door. There you go. There you go. Add it over the door. That's not a safety risk at all, by the way. Should it be over the door? Should it be over my desk? To be like double annoying? Oh no, you have to add it higher. Oh, I can't put it. No, what did I do? What happened to the... Oh, you know what? Over the trash can. Wait, that's not a trash can. Take out the rotation UI. It's messing me up. It's messing me up. Milky, hello, hello. Thank you for the raid. How you doing? We're doing a little bit of classroom customization in this program called GOGH. How you guys doing? It's me, Babinka Bear, your local Sun Bear art history teacher and educational streamer. How you doing? I was lurking a smidge in your art stream, Milky. Hello, hello. How was the MPreg? Very productive, nice. Milkers, if you guys want a little bit more productivity out of the raid, we're gonna be doing a study session soon. My newest hyperfixation has been one that I've had since childhood, but has resurfaced. It's not Digimon, even though that is another one. It's dinosaurs. I'm gonna be studying dinosaurs today, but we're actually in this program. The first thing we're doing is we're in this program called GOGH. Go, however you want to pronounce it. I like to apologize for our streamer's horniness. Isurugi Miyosama. I don't mind. First of all, welcome to the class. Second of all, me and Milky, we're friends. I'm well aware of what I raided into last night. I'm well aware. It kind of like fried me, as the kids say, to go from like, all right guys, like have a good you know, school day, good job everyone, and then like raid directly into Milky talking about orc beanits. No, yeah, I love Milky. I love Milky with my entire heart and soul. So I am no stranger to the horniness at all. In fact, I admire. I admire Milky. But also, yeah, how was the art? How was the Klexing, you know? How was the Klex MPreg? Was that what you were doing? It's always a mixed bag with Milky. It's always a full bag of milk. It's always a full bag of milk. What's not to love with Milky, right? But hello, Milkers. Hello, Milky. If you guys have to raid and run, if you need to get any rest, any, what is it? Late din-din? Early breakfast? Or anything like that, feel free, of course. Feel free. We're gonna be designing or kind of redecorating our classroom here in this program, Go, and then we're going to be doing some study sessions. So there are gonna be times where I'm gonna have to mute because I'm gonna be concentrating on class, but I'm taking like an online class right now on Coursera, I guess. But it's also a time if you want to chill and just focus with us using like the Pomodoro method. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but it helps me. But you're welcome to do that. You gotta go? Sorry, I have to sleep. It's like 3 a.m. Go get some rest, Milky. I love you. Love you so much. Lots of drawing Lex Luthor pregnant. There you go. There you go. Some good milk. Some milk that's past its expiration. We still love her. Pomodoro, like the pasta? Yeah, it's like a method where you focus for like a certain amount of time and then you take a break for a certain amount of time. Yeah, it's one of those things that like doesn't work for everyone, right? Like depending on your preferences, depending on how the brainy works, but it helps me. It helps me at times, so I like using it. So that means for about 45 minutes, I'm gonna be muted. I'm not gonna be doing much. But you guys are free to chat with each other, and then we'll take like a 15-minute break where I will do yaps. Oh, we didn't do food guesser today, so maybe we'll do food guesser during the break. But yeah, Milky, get some rest, But thank you for the raid again. Good night. Good night. Magandang gabing ka. Tulog na. Tulog na. Bye-bye. But yeah, so we are in this program called GOGH, G-O-G-H. This is our little classroom, right? This is our little classroom. Oh, my avatar has disappeared because I'm editing, but we're thinking of where to put the... How about this? Let's put the basketball hoop here. Let's put a trash can underneath. I think, yeah, I have a trash can right here. So we'll put it here. That way, it's a little challenge for you guys. Are you able to make it into the trash bin? There you go. See, isn't that smart? Isn't that smart? And here, let's see. Maybe put the basketball somewhere here. There is an option for, oh, by the way, we have an orb for all the fellow Randonites here. We do have an orb on the premises. Put the soccer ball here. There is a refrigerator here. Let's give you guys some food. But I also feel like that's also going to be an extra surface for us to decorate. HTTQW5, I don't remember if I said hello, but hello, hello. I saw you come in like right with the raid. But I think I was doing my usual like raiding spiel. But hello, hello. Harpsichord Enjoyer, hello, you got your sticker. Yeah, let's keep on decorating. Oh, we got some incense sticks over here. Maybe that can go here. Oh, it's just called fragrance. Some tissues when you guys get sniffly. I think I put a box of tissues here, I want to say. No, I didn't. Ah, you guys need some tissues. What if you get the snifflies? Let's put some tissues in there. There you go, tissue case. Where's the refrigerator? I promised you guys a refrigerator. Here, kitchen. Here we go. I did play around with the idea of like, what if I give you guys a whole vending machine? But then look at how much light it emits, right? That's a bit too much. I kind of like the mini fridge because you could also use it as a surface. We can put a microwave on top. There we go. It feels a little bit more homey that way, right? There's the microwave, and then there's also like a kettle. Wait, what do we have here? We have like, what is that, an espresso machine? A kettle. We can get like either the old school one or like the newfangled one. There we go, an electric kettle. Blue Eyes White Boomer, hello. Nice office sim look. Also happy holidays, right? I know it's usually you wouldn't have a fridge in a classroom, but you know, why not? Why not give you guys some snackies? How about maybe we move this basket and then we put the kettle back here or the microwave. One of the two. We could do that. It's probably for kids that need specific things. Exactly. Exactly. I actually do remember back when I was in high school, I took AP Biology. Worst mistake of my life, by the way. No, actually, the teacher was really nice. I was just not that motivated of a student back then. But I took AP Bio, and I remember we had sixth period, the last period of the day. And our teacher was always really nice, and she made coffee for us. Well, it was like instant coffee. It wasn't anything like super fancy, but it was still like a nice gesture, you know? But also like looking back on it, now that I'm like a fully grown bear adult, it's like, wow, she giving coffee to your students, man? Which I think different cultures will say different things, because I know I have a coworker from Colombia, and she's like, oh yeah, ever since like little kids will be drinking coffee, you know? But I know that in like especially in like Bear America, they're usually like, oh, you shouldn't be giving kids, you know, you shouldn't be giving them coffee, you shouldn't be giving them too much caffeine. Sugar is like enough of a thing, you know. I don't regret any classes I took in high school, including an AP class, but I do wish I didn't take high school so seriously. Listen, when you wake up at 6 a.m. No, for real. That's one of the things that, like, working in education, I still, like, I think working as a teacher, you get to see stuff that is kind of just, like, normalized and ingrained in students. That is kind of like, oh, should it be ingrained? I think I talked before about, like, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance, how, like, now that I visit schools and, like, everyone just pauses for the Pledge of Allegiance. Even just the idea of doing the Pledge of Allegiance is a little, dystopian in a way, you know? I think it's fine to have patriotism for your country. It's a little shaky nowadays though, because of what patriotism is like synonymous with. But the fact that you have to do it every single day, you have to pledge your allegiance to this country, to this flag, or else. But I guess it's not dystopian as it could be, but that's not exactly, you know, that's never like a great argument. It's like, oh, it's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. All right, we got some cup noodles here for the kiddos that need it. What other foods can we have here? Food. Here we go. We got some, ooh, we got some fruits. Oh, maybe, do we have some kind of receptacle for the food? Like we have like this basket. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's put some foods in the basket. Let's put some bananas, some orangas, some banana. But yeah, another thing is like how early these kiddos have to wake up, right? It changes because, like I said, I do visit a lot of different schools for work. And some of the schools I visit, their day doesn't start till 8 a.m., but a good majority start like 7:30 a.m. I took AP Bio, English, Chem, and Physics all in my senior year. That was a rough balancing all four, thanks to the American Standardized Testing that only came to me to cram the interesting classes all in 1 year. No! I salute you. I salute you, Isurugi. I salute you, because I was struggling enough with, I think I took AP Euro, European History, and AP Biology. I didn't fail Bio, but I think, what's like the scale of scoring again? Is it like 3 is not passing? I feel like I got either a 2 or a 3. Like, I didn't get a 1, but I for sure did not, like, I don't think I passed the exam. And I felt, like, so bad. I think I also took AP Psych. That one was easy. AP Psych was easy. AP Euro was, like, pretty straightforward. But AP Bio, I didn't do so well. But, yeah, the idea... I saw this funny video the other day. It was one of those shorts of, like, a teacher who teaches an AP class versus a college professor. That teaches that same class, and like the college professor is always just more chill. He's like, ah, look at this, we got more than half of the students. We got more than half of the room is filled. That's a new record, right? And then the teacher that's teaching AP Bio is like, listen up, you worthless little little hooligans. This will not fly in college. Meanwhile, in college, like, yeah, you don't have to take the quiz today. Wait, let me see what you guys are saying. Should it be no, but you don't have the energy to debate or argue? Yeah. 3 is passing, but depending on the course, they may only take 4 or above. AP Comp Sci was a 4 or greater. Oh, I see. Seribot, good job. They got a bot. I think I got like a 2 or a 3 in AP Bio. I think I got something, because I vividly remember being like disappointed. So I think it was like a 2. But I ended up taking a science anyway in college. It's funny because I took these AP classes, but I didn't realize that like by taking them, it means that you don't have to take them in college. So I think I like, I know this is gonna sound so dumb, but I was also like the first in my family to go to college. So like I didn't know what a lot of these things meant. Of course, also being like, you know, firstborn to like immigrant parents is also like, I don't know why it didn't occur to me that like, oh, AP, it's college level, that means you don't have to take it again in college. So I not only took those AP classes, I passed European history and I passed psychology, but I still took the requisites in college as well. So like, so it was like essentially a waste. I could have enjoyed my senior year a little bit more, right? I would have liked to take 1 AP class per year, but because of having to pass a standardized test, my school focused on making sure you pass those, then actually expand your horizons over the 4 years. Oh yeah, that's like one of my, like, not just me, but like a lot of people that work in education, that's like the biggest critique, is like the emphasis on like standardized tests. Like it's not an emphasis on like, oh, we hope that the kids actually understand what it is that they're learning. No, it's never actually that. It's like, we need high scores on these standardized tests so that we will get more funding for our school, you know? Oh, look, we got some Campbell's soup here. We got some of that Andy Warhol type beat, as the kids say. There we go. We got some soup. I'm at soup. No, yeah, that's like the biggest critique is like this like emphasis on like standardized testing rather than like, you know, having the time to make sure that students are not just learning, but comprehending what they're learning, making sure they're understanding what they're learning before they move on to like the next level. And then another big thing is accessibility, is like making sure that students with learning, you know, people say learning differences or learning disabilities or learning, you know, like they for whatever reason, like they're not able to learn the way that like the majority of their class learns. If it weren't for like this emphasis on like standardized testing and just getting kids through the door with like their degrees, there would also be time for people to address like, oh, this student in my class, mind you, not even just in like a special day class or like a special education class, but like just in like a general class, like being like, oh, this student like does wonderfully on all of their assignments, but they do horribly on their tests. I wonder why that is. I wonder if there's a way that we could test them in a way that, you know, like actually is best for them, you know? Yeah, there's just no time to do that because the emphasis is like, these kids gotta go pass these tests. I don't know, I don't care how, I don't care when, they just have to do it, you know? So it's a shame because that is such a like a hindrance to like true education where students are actually enjoying the act of learning. And it's a shame because like you see it everywhere. And we're also seeing like I don't want to be too dramatic and too like boomer yells at cloud, but like you are seeing like the long-term effects of it really calcifying, solidifying now in the youth. Like how many students are graduating with their degrees, but they clearly don't understand anything they learned. They don't understand any sense of critical thinking. They don't understand. And by the way, I'm like making a large sweep here. Not every student, but you are just seeing a trend of more people having these like not comprehending like not just media literacy, but like basic literacy. You know? Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I wish they pushed me more to take AP classes, but also not to be like, oh my god, HS is everything. No, for real. Because for me, high school was very enjoyable, but for me, like college was kind of like peak enjoyment. And then of course, like 20s and 30s afterwards are also really fun. But what I like is in college, you're kind of exposed to different communities, different lines of thinking, different experiences. And depending on what kind of college you went to, whether it's community college or like university, there is something nice about living in essentially like your own little village where like, you know, someone could hit you up for a party like, you know, that wasn't planned in advance. You could just go, or, you know, you're rooming with the people that are taking similar classes to you and all of that. Take college level courses in high school so you can skip them in college, and then other lies we tell kids. For real, folk, for real. It's all about the funding. That is a critique, but COVID didn't help, and testing is the easiest way to test where kids are as a result of that. Yes, but I guess it's the way that we test students. Because like I said, for some students, what's it called, like oral tests might work a little bit better, or like take-home tests might be better, written might be better, depending on like just the way that they learned. But you know what puts a huge damper on all of that, you know what like really like throws a wrench into everything, is the advent of AI. Because now a lot of professors are resorting to doing like oral in-person testing for students, and that just doesn't work for a lot of students. But unfortunately, it's the route that a lot of professors and teachers have to take because a lot of students are using AI. You know, and that's like adding to what we're talking about of like, oh yeah, AI is also like dampening a lot of this, because you can get this like amazing paper that shows that a student is comprehending what they're learning, but was it really written by them? Was it really written by a student? You know, does the paper end with, if you want this paper to sound a little bit more human, let me know? Or insert name here, you know? Standardized testing being the only goal just causes students to learn. Yeah, exactly what Folk is saying. Yeah, to learn by memorization, which they immediately forget. Yeah. No, 100%. Like, because that's the whole thing I was talking about with like reading, like general phonics and reading. Like, unfortunately, a lot of kids are being taught nowadays not to actually sound out unfamiliar words. They're being taught to memorize. And like, that leads to like, if a kid doesn't understand like, you know, like these symbols on the wall here, the K corresponds to the K sound. The U can be either or U. And then the B corresponds to the B sound. So you can sound it out to make maybe cub or cub, right? In this case, it's cub. But let's say that you have a word that you're unfamiliar with. The student hasn't memorized how to say that. Instead of learning how to pronounce each character, each glyph, they're kind of just taking a guess. And if it's wrong, they get discouraged. And once again, this is a bit of like a wide sweep. It's a bit of a wide brush that I'm painting with here. But it's just, so it's not like every student is like this, but you're just seeing more trends towards more students having this problem. Yes and no, it depends on how you do on the test. The current education system is just to push them out of the door with a piece of paper. Yep, exactly. Push them out of the door without them understanding. Just very critical things, you know? I also grew up in a state with low education standards, so my opinion may be skewed. Results may vary. They have to because in that sense, AI is cheating. Yeah, well, like AI in general, like there are so many ways. Like I've said this spiel a lot of times. There are many ways that AI can be beneficial to us as a society. Like there's like the AI that is able to like identify like very quickly like cancer cells in like the body, and they're able to like find it really early. That's like a fantastic way to use AI. Even within art, there's ways that AI is using to help with kind of the redundant parts of the art process. Like I've heard in animation, one of the most redundant parts is like repeatedly like making the animation. But the I don't know, I just keep on thinking of this tweet I saw where it's like mankind has not learned, or whatever, however the spiel goes, but just like humanity, like ever since like we first like were developing, you know, art and like art, music, singing, storytelling, these are things that are very intrinsic to the human experience. And it's only like relatively recently in our history that we've instead shifted the focus over to like 9-to-5 work, like to like, you know, this rat race of like working nonstop. In many cultures, in both ancient times and in indigenous cultures as well, it was just like work as long as you have food. You know, like if you're like, a good example is like how the Spaniards would write about Filipinos, and it's like, oh, the Filipinos are so lazy. They didn't call them Filipinos back then, but like, but the natives are so lazy because they just fish enough to feed them for one day and then they go home. They're so lazy. They're not stockpiling enough for the week. And it's like, that's all they needed though. Like, especially when you think about how they didn't have refrigeration. Like, well, they had ways of storing the food. Like they had ways of like, you know, storing it in salt. But really, like, unless you're planning for a natural disaster, or if you know that your climate is gonna go like there's gonna be some seasons where you're gonna be wanting for food, like, then like you really only need to fish enough for the day. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there are cultures where it's like they know for a fact that like, oh, they're gonna have a winter season, so they need to stockpile the food. But in a place like the Philippines where the weather's just nice all the time, like you really only need to fish for yourself for like once a day, you know? And then it's like, oh, the rest of the day they just like dilly-dally and like talk to each other and like and just hang out. Can you believe it? Christmas in a week. Like, and it's like, yeah, you really like they have more time to live their life, to like tell stories, to like wonder about like what the world is like, to sing songs, paint, and all of that. And now fast forward to nowadays, why is it that AI is taking over those things that are so, like I said, intrinsic to the human experience, you know? Why can't we have it do like the stuff that we don't want to do? Like, why can't we have it fish for us? Or like, well, that again, I guess one thing with that is that culinary art is also an art. That's something that people also enjoy, right? But just like the repetitive and like repetitive and annoying parts of life. Why can't we get AI to do that for us? Instead of taking over the things that we want to do for leisure. Like, give us time to, like, why isn't the AI, like, producing the things that need to be produced, and then that way we get more time to live our lives, like, enjoy our lives, you know? From what I hear, kids are being taught to just guess on not just pronunciations as well as definitions. Yeah, 100%. Without going into a TED Talk, AI is a fantastic Google 2.0, but it's not magic. It can be. I think it has the potential to be a good, like, Google, but right now it's just not. It's just not, because, like, I think in many ways it can be used to aggregate certain information in a very digestible way. I've heard that there are AIs that help people study in terms of, like, they take like a PDF and then it turns it into like a podcast. That's pretty neat. But there are also AIs that just make things up. And it kind of like kind of spoils the whole barrel, so to speak, because it's like, how do I know that this PDF that I just pasted into this, like, AI, first of all, you're also feeding that PDF into, like, I guess the AI's I forget the word, but, like, the system, but how do we know that AI isn't just adding random things, you know? Burying food like squirrels. Remember hearing that people considered ye old Hawaiians lazy because they got all their work done in the first half of the day and then spent the rest of the day doing whatever? Exactly! Because if you got all your work done, like, why extend that? That's almost like when you go into your 9 to 5, if you have a 9 to 5, you go in, you finish all your work within, like, the first 2 hours, and it's like, why extend that? Like, they dilly-dally when they should be praising our god. Exactly, that's exactly. POV, you're a Spaniard or a European in, like, an indigenous island, and they're not praising your god. I think the problem is not inherently AI, but the companies behind it, using it as a way to milk the general population rather than help them. Yeah, you said it. That's a really, like, concise way to put it. Where, like, AI has so much potential, but, like, right now it is being used more so to put money in pockets rather than, you know, advance our society in a meaningful way. Before I forget, 21,057 out of 50,000 is my score for the daily time guesser. Ooh! I'm like hilariously bad at time guesser now, but we could do food guesser. You guys want to do food guesser, and then whenever the ad break pops up, we'll get into our studying afterwards. Let's do food guesser. Oh yeah, I forgot that my paw cam is on. Let's turn this off for a second, and then we'll do some food guesser. Yeah, let's do this. Which is hilarious because it's bad at putting money in pockets too. AI hasn't been profitable for anyone besides hard work companies yet. I've heard that too. Oh no! I can't do my dailies. Because we did it last night. I forgot about that. Let's just do quick play then. We'll just do quick play. Oh, yo, that looks good. I've had that before. That's like my childhood. This is either like American or Filipino, maybe. We'll see. But this used to be like my childhood, like din din, you know? The dish is made by sauteing. Oh yeah, corned beef, potatoes, onions, garlic, tomatoes, cooking oil, black pepper. Actually, to be fair, it could be a lot of different cultures, but I just know I used to eat this a lot. This dish is made by sauteing garlic, onions, and tomatoes in oil till fragrant. Shredded corned beef is then added and browned. Broth, soy sauce, and bay leaves are poured into the pot and simmered until the beef is tender. Potatoes and carrots are added and cooked until soft. Seasoned with salt and pepper to taste. It's a very simple dish and is popularly eaten for breakfast with white rice or salt bread. I would eat it with rice. I'm gonna take a stab and say Philippines. Yo! First try! At a glance, right? Carne norte guisado. Ginisang carne norte, ginisang corned beef. Yeah, this used to be my breakfast. Carne norte guisado is a Filipino dish made primarily of canned corned beef, potatoes, onions, and sometimes tomatoes or bell peppers. Yeah, first try. Profit does not always equal money. Propaganda is worth more to some than an actual immediate monetary return. I guess that also applies to Pog. She's goated with the guisado. To be fair, Play-Doh stuff is a fairly common dish. Yeah, that's why I second guessed myself. Like, I saw this at first, and then I was like, wait, I used to eat that. But then it's like, wait. Like, this is a very general, it's almost like, you know, just a steak on a plate. And it's like, wait a minute, I used to eat that, but with rice. But yeah, what Isurugi said, very on point as well. Propaganda is usually worth more because you also not just get the money of people, but you get their heart and soul. You get their dedication. You get their confidence that like, oh, I should support this company, you know? But yeah, that's also very on point. So next round, what is this? Beef tripe, tomato sauce, onions, carrots, celery, garlic, olive oil, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, basil, or parsley. Kale, hello. Hello, we're doing some food guesser before we jump into some study time. Let's see. So simmer clean tripe in salt water until tender. In a pan, saute onions, carrot, celery, then add garlic and pancetta. Add canned tomatoes and cook it till reduced. This one I'm not sure. I feel like I could. I feel like I would also eat this stuff for breakfast. Back when I still ate meat, but. I'm not sure. If we look at the ingredients, it feels vaguely European. Let's say United Kingdom, and then go from there. We're warm. So it says here southeast of the UK. Maybe Italy? It does say pancetta. Pancetta? Yeah, right? Seems like... Yeah, it is pancetta. Thank you, Kale. Thank you. Yeah, right? Doesn't it seem European? Let's go Italy. It says pancetta. Yeah, there we go. Tripa alla Fiorentina. Oh, so from like Florence? Right? Because doesn't Fiorentina mean like... Oh yeah, it says Florence right here. It's a traditional Italian dish originating from Florence, capital city of the Tuscany region. Primarily made using tripe. Clean, boiled, and simmered in tomato-based sauce. Ah, okay. Spain or Italy? Yeah, right? You got it. It's Italian. Ooh, you look so yummy. Flour, this next one is flour, yeast, saffron, sugar, buttermilk, turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon, vanilla, cardamom, anise, salt, egg, sesame seeds, and nigella seeds. It's a flaky pastry enjoyed during spring celebrations. Something about the ingredients, whenever I see turmeric, part of me is like South Asia, right? Shall we start with South Asia first? See if we're close. We're cool. We're not close. Northwest. Okay, Northwest. We did lose yesterday on like Iranian food. So maybe Iran? It borders Iran. Okay. Shor Gogal. Let's get our world map out. Get the world map. Oh, you know what Go needs? Now that I'm talking about world maps, it needs that, like, you know, in a classroom where you have like the different like pull down maps. Or actually, I just realized my projector screen can just do that. Let me just get an image up real quick. Wait, what's happening? It's not showing the image. There we go. Look, it's like, you know those like pull down maps like this? You can never just... Same with like a projector screen. Whenever we visit a school and we need to use the projector screen, we can never get it to stay down. Like, we tried everything. Like, we angle it a certain way. We like tie the projector screen down to something, but we could just never get it to stay down. Alright, so it borders Iran. Oh, what direction does it border Iran? The northwest. Is that Turkey? Oh, there's actually like quite a few countries that border it. So Iran is over here, the like turquoise. So we have Turkey, Azerbaijan, wait. Oh, Armenia, Azerbaijan. So I feel like, let's try Armenia. Let's see if it's Armenia. Sounds good, but I'm also weak to pastries. I love pastries. Armenia. Seems Middle Eastern. Yeah, right? Let's say Armenia. Ah, borders. To the northeast. So, Azerbaijan, you think? I think it might be Azerbaijan. I had a... It's funny to say this. When I was in middle school, I had a quote-unquote bear friend that was from Azerbaijan. But when you're dating... I was right. It's Azerbaijan. I guess I would call him like my boyfriend, but when you're... I feel like certain middle school relationships don't exactly count because all we did was like hold hands to second period, you know? Like, not even kissing or anything like that. It was just like, you want to be my boyfriend, my bear friend? And we would like hold hands, you know? That was kind of it. So like, I don't know, would you count that? It's like puppy dog love. It's like puppy dog love, right? My friend proposed to his GF with a ring pop. Aww. Middle school was wild. That's cute. They're really cute. I guess you could still count them in terms of like, you know, puppy love type things. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, it doesn't count because we never had sex. Like, or anything like that. Because of course I'm not gonna be here and be like, oh yeah, because middle schoolers don't do that. They 100% do, depending on how and where they grow up. But like, for me personally, it's like, oh, we just held hands. Like, that's all we did. That's cute. Scandalous, not a real relationship though. Yeah, right? Because I feel like when it comes to relationships, it's like you're also finding out more about like the other person. You're like, I don't know, finding out a little bit more about yourself. This is more of like a nice little like, oh, I could call someone my BF. And we could, you know, other people will gossip and be like, oh my gosh, they're dating. Like, I feel like the thought is there. Yeah, right? The thought is there. It's a good like first experience, you know? Okay, so let's go to the next round. Ooh, this looks interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Well, maybe. Okay, so this is eggs, sugar, flour, butter, ground walnuts, chocolate, desiccated coconut, baking powder, rum, vanilla extract, cocoa powder, whipped cream. So it's a cake. It's a pastry. Round layered cakes coated with chocolate and coconut shavings resembling small caps. A delightful blend of moist sponge cake. Oh, I do like sponge cake. I love the moist sponge cakes, like the tres leches. My favorite. Something about the chocolate makes me want to say like Germany first. Let's see if that is anything. Oh, we're hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. So southeast. Southeast and we're hot, but it's not bordering though. So maybe the Balkans? Let's say Romania. I feel like Romania is always my go-to when it comes to the Balkans. It borders. Ruske kape. A Russian cap? Is it Russian? We're gonna get freaking debated again like yesterday where it was like, it's west of Russia. Directly south of Russia. Okay, Germany's here. Romania is here. It's north. No, it's west. It borders Romania to the west. Oh, it's one of these many countries. Okay. So what is 11 or 12? Hungary or Serbia? Ooh, it could really be either one of those. Okay, let's do Serbia. Yeah. Oh, it's a whole bunch of like Balkan countries. Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia, Croatia, Albania, Montenegro. Ah, okay. Yeah, the coconut. Russian hat is a dessert commonly found in the Balkans. Comes from, oh, like a yushanka. Yeah, yushankas are those like fluffy hats with like the little like ear parts, if that makes sense. It's like if you imagine like a stereotypical like Russian soldier during like World War II, they're probably wearing a yushanka. But there's also like or I guess not even soldiers. If you imagine like the tall hats, that's also a yushanka. But sometimes it has like the little ear parts are like tied to the top, you know? Although it makes me hungry. You'll love to see it. Okay, next round. I think this might be the last round. So tomato, onion, garlic, red pepper, and rabbit thickened with cake flour. Dishes made by tearing pieces of dough into irregular shapes and boiling them in broth with vegetables and meat. Dough is typically made with flour, water, olive oil, and sometimes eggs. The broth is seasoned with herbs and spices to add flavor. It is simple to prepare and often enjoyed as a comforting and hearty meal. Rabbit. Where is it common to eat rabbit? Is this another like European? You think? Like another European? Wait, also let me fix my projector screen really quickly. There we go. That's just American propaganda. Russians only wear Adidas track jackets. Hello, Mega Bronson. Hello. Methinks Euro. It feels European, right? Let's try France. Borders France to the southwest. Oh, Spain or Andorra. It's Spain. It's Spanish. Andrajos is a traditional Spanish dish originated in the southern region, particularly in Andalusia. Translates to rags in English, which refers to the appearance of the thin strips of dough. Ah, okay. What's our final score? We're a gastronomical genius. We did it. We know our geography somewhat. Nice. And thanks for the help, everyone. Thank you. Should we try Time Guesser? I feel like I'm gonna embarrass myself again. Adidas. Real Adidas is too expensive. Yeah. Time Guesser. I feel like I'm gonna embarrass myself again and ask you guys where Madison Times Square is. Try? Okay, let's do it. No timer. No time limit. Wait. Play. Okay. Pretty straightforward where this might be, unless this is like a Hollywood set, right? I think it's pretty straightforward. This is the pyramids. The pyramids at Giza. Well, the thing is, where is Giza? I know it's like near Cairo, right? There we go, there's Giza. Oh, try the daily? We can. In the Philippines, it's adobos. Where is... I actually don't know how far away the... Oh, here! Great Pyramid of Giza. And then, guess... This isn't black and white, but that could be a red herring. It could just be, you know, this could be contemporary, and they just chose a filter, you know? But if it's black and white... Well, also another thing is they're allowed to be on the pyramids. I feel like nowadays you would not... That would not fly. Can we try maybe 19... like 30s, 40s? If it was the 40s, I think people would be not this chill, right? Let's do 1920s. Make a guess. 2000! See, I was... What? What do you mean it's the year 2000? Oh, no. That's the score. That's the score. I was like, there's no way. There's no way they're letting people on the pyramids in the year 2000. In the year of our Bear Lord 2000. It's 1938, so I was only 14 years off. Tourists having a tea party atop the Great Pyramids. So location-wise, I was like almost on the dot. I think I just needed to zoom in a little bit more. But year-wise... Oh, this is pretty close to World War II, though. But for a second, I was like, the year is 2000? There's no way. There's no actual way. Okay, let's do the daily. Oh, okay. I think this is India? Like, the script reminds me of like, I don't know the specific script. Reminds me of like India. Or Pakistan? I'm thinking South Asia. Something about that script just like reminds me. Or is it Armenian actually? Maybe this is Armenian? Am I allowed to look up the script? I'm really bad at guessing times. Yeah, like there is like, this does look like it's film photography. All I know is that if you see an Amogus, it's Thai. This feels Armenian. Wait, Armenian script. Armenian alphabet. Right? Like, it kinda does? Or, not exactly. It's actually not exactly the same. Because there's like N shapes and M shapes. Kinda? It like vaguely looks like it. Let's guess Armenia. It kind of does. Yeah. Let's guess Armenia. I'm really bad at the times though, if I'm being real. Let's say I actually don't know the capital. Is it Yerevan? Let's say it's like here. And then it's color, but it's film. It's color, but it's film. So probably wants to say like anywhere between like the 60s and 80s? Maybe even 90s? Let's say let's say on like the later half. Like let's say 1986. 1992. Okay, I wasn't too bad. And then this is oh, Georgia. Okay, it's Georgia. So I was pretty close with Armenia because they're like bordering each other. So not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Kind of does. Devin, hello. Skipping locals again, Binka. I have plans again. It's the week before Christmas. It's the week before Christmas. There was a map of Georgia in the picture. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. I'm not the most observant. I'm not the most observant. Okay, next round. Okay, what is this? This looks old-timey. Oh, blimey. Cols de aram, machinas de costura. Maybe French? Oh, isn't that like a famous thing? Like this like statue in the back? Is it Paris? Or Italy? Cause machinas de costuma? Loca es maybe this is like Italian? Is this Rome? Farmacia? Let's say Italy. This like oh, there's also the statue here. See, this is what I mean. I feel like I'm gonna embarrass myself. I'm very uncultured. Maybe Italy? Rome even? Oh, we have an ad. We already have an ad break coming up. Let's snooze this ad. We get before Christmas, so what? You're not gonna be there Thursday either? It's like, is there locals on Christmas Day? Like, is the store open? Like, oh man, oh man. Is this Rome? I feel like that statue is very famous, and yet I don't know what it is. Piazza Navona? And it looks very old. It looks like... oh, it only goes up to 1900. Okay. 1910? Make guess. 1907! Ah, we were completely off. This is Portuguese. Portugal. But at least the time, it wasn't too far off. I don't care if the store is open. I'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah, I couldn't quite get the language. This one was a hard one. Yeah. A couple more. Round 3. Oh, that's Cyrillic. Goiriko? That looks Cyrillic, but that doesn't always narrow it down because if this is like during the Soviet Union, there's lots of countries. Oh wait, that's Greek. Right? Is that Greek? Grammato... I forgot how to read that. Enma? I feel like it's Cyrillic. Ah, now I'm second guessing myself. Is it Greek or is it... no, you know what? I think this is Greek. I think this is Greek. Let's see the time period though. It's black and white, but if we look at their clothing, it looks like it could be like 70s. Let's try 70s Greece. When in doubt, just do the capital. Let's do 70s or 60s. Maybe like in between. 69, nice. 9 years off, and it is Athens, Greece. Yo, nice. Location, I was like almost on the dot. Let's go. And just 9 years off, but it did feel kind of like 70s. Next one. Second to last. Oh, okay, this one looks pretty contemporary. I would say like maybe 2010s. The building though. Something about this feels Russian to me, because you see like a lot of European faces, but also like vaguely like almost East Asian. The building in the back also reminds me of like, I don't know, something you'd see in like a Russian city. I unfortunately can't see any text. I unfortunately cannot see any text at all, but this is, I don't know, maybe it's because we just saw like a little bit of like Greek alphabet. Should we do like maybe Moscow or maybe St. Petersburg? Let's do St. Petersburg. It feels pretty contemporary. Let's do 2013. 2014, I was a year off. Oh, and it was Moscow. Journey into Christmas. Okay, so right country. I got the right country and I got like pretty close to the year, but wrong location. I even said when in doubt, pick the capital, and I didn't do that. How dare I? Why would I do such a thing? These last two I failed completely. Oh man, they're pretty hard if you can't see like the script though. I feel like the writing system like helps a lot. Oh no, I feel like someone who knows cars really well is gonna be like, oh come on Pinka, that's a Chevrolet something something. I want to say Bear American off the, you know, just off the dome. Feels American. Wait, what is that Latin script? Oh, the thing is this could really be anywhere. Well, I was gonna say there's like a flagpole, but unfortunately I can't even make out the flag. I can't even make out any of the script. Got a pipe? So it could be, you know, like America, could be UK, could even be like... This one's hard. This one's hard. No, actually, this counts as a script right here. Something to April. I didn't even see one Adidas tracksuit in that image. I thought this was like New York. Ah, I see. Okay, we have an ad break in less than a minute. Maybe I can guess this soon. Let's say 50. No, let's say 60. 59. Let's say America. Let's say New York. Because it's also, Beans and I have been watching a lot of Mad Men lately. I feel like this might be completely off, but let's just guess. Okay, it was America, and it was at least the right coast. Visitors in Vermont State. 1937! I got the year completely wrong. I got a 0 on the year! Oh no. Final score, what did I get? 35,000. Nice. Nice. Alright guys, let's take you guys out to recess. The last one, not this one. Ah, okay. Oh, the one. Oh, where'd I go? Where am I? There we go. That's not America, that's Canada? No, it said Vermont. It said Vermont. Beacha? It wasn't easy though. I will say that. Like that was not easy. So I think the ad break's gonna start soon. The ad break is gonna start soon. I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna study some dinosaurs. Or I'm gonna study dinosaurs, and then after the study session, I'll try to teach you guys about dinosaurs. But I have to go to the forest right now. I gotta go to the little bear's room. Okay, we're back. Welcome back from the ad break. It is now time for a little bit of studying. You guys excited? Well, let's go over how this is gonna go. Oh yeah, I was looking at YouTube during the ad break. All right. Actually, did we finish our design changes? Oh yeah, I was gonna add more like foods and stuff, right? Let's add some food and stuff, and then we'll get into our study sesh. Okay. I was like, what are the controls again? So we have a toolbox over here. I feel like this area should just be like food stuff. So we have lots of cup noodles for those that need it. Cup ramen, as I call it. You know, as a kid, I used to call it cup of noodles. I never realized until I was like an adult that it doesn't actually say cup of noodles. It says cup noodles. There we go. Let's give you guys some chippies. Oh, you can't layer it on top of each other? No. There's Pocky. Wait, let me put this plantaroonie down here. Put this here. Soup. I'm at soup. Now, let's put Pocky. You guys want some Pocky? There you go. Name fish Bonkers? We can name the fish Bonkers. Or I don't know if we can name it, but like in my heart, its name will be Bonkers. Is this a candy bowl? What is this? Oh, it's candy. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It looks like a nice little like corner, right? Nice little like food corner. Can we put, you know what we need? Even though I myself do not eat meat, this is an accessible classroom. So, you know what this needs? We need to put the shoebox here, and we just need to put a giant honking piece of meat like at the bottom. Beast meat, okay. I already know what kind of jokes you guys are gonna make too. Dishes? Oh, there's there's condiments as well. Okay, let's move this over here. Bear that doesn't eat meat. Hey, bears eat lots of things. Bears are omnivorous. I will eat all the berries. I will do it. Alright, let's put the chips here next to the meat. Let's put some condiments in here. Ketchup for your, your cup noodles. What is this? What is this? Oh, medicine! If you guys need heartburn or allergy meds, it's here. Some sugar. What is this? Is it just flour? Oh, coffee beans. Oh, okay, that might be nice to have over here if it'll cooperate with me. There we go. And sugar. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I'm just one of those bearinos that doesn't eat meat. I do eat lots of fish though. Gonna need some Tums? Yo, you're just like me for real, for real. Just like me for real, for real. What is this? Soy sauce! You do need the soy sauce for the noodles. Some cutlery too. You could put the cutlery maybe here? Oh, we do need plates and stuff. Do we though? Like, are you guys not okay with just, like, stuffing your face? Like, just opening up the can and just, like, slurping the whole thing down? I don't think there's gonna be enough berries in the forest to say to bear's appetite. I also eat fish. So. And shrimp. Oh, man, I love shrimp. If I talk about it too much, I'm gonna get very hungry, so... Oh, you know what? We don't need cutlery. We don't need cutlery. We got chopsticks. That's what this is, right? Yeah, we got lots of chopsticks. There we go. Sweets, foods, drinks. Oh yeah, we need some drinks. You guys need some drinks. Or else you'll go crazy. Let's put the toolbox in here. And then let's get you guys some drinks. Some good coffee. What is this? Gooder coffee? Wait, what is that? A tumbler. Like the website. What is this? Water? That's a big... that's a big water. There you go. Alright. We stocked our kitchen. What's the point of having the snacks if no one's going to eat them? Everyone's gonna eat the snacks. Snack on something if you're hungry. Oh my god, I had this conversation before, but my friend told me one time that like your household is either a snack household or an ingredient household. The house that I grew up in, because I don't live with my parents, I live with my partner and his family. Their household is an ingredient household. There's not a lot of snacks, but I grew up in a snack household. So I always had a little like snacky poo, you know? I always had a little snacky poo to myself. Some chips, some chocolates. It did lead to some bad eating habits of me nowadays, but I am unlearning a lot of those habits, so I am finally getting my veggies in. But yeah, there's not a lot of snacks in this household. There's fruit. I could get some fruit, actually. That is something I could do. Yeah, oh man. But yeah, I grew up in like a Filipino household with an abundance of snacks. Some might say too much. So it is a bit of like a shift to go to like a household that's more of an ingredient household, right? Okay, I think we are done with the decoration. I think now we're good to study. There's me. There's my my avatar going through it. Maybe we could change the pose. There we go. She slept. What about... There we go. We lounge. Paint me like one of your French bears. Paint me like one of your French bears. Let's maybe do this. There we go. I like the tree in the foreground. That really adds to the feeling that the class is just a little bit overgrown. Just a teensy bit. But okay, let's start our study session. I think I initially did 40 minutes, but let's do 30 minutes. And then, yeah, 15 minutes break. No, yeah, 15 minutes. We'll do 15 minutes. So this is how this is going to work out. This is going to be, for the rest of the stream, is going to be a focus/study stream. We're going to have our 30-minute focus periods. And during that time, at least for this first focus session, I'm going to mute because I'm going to be taking an online class. And I'm gonna be learning about dinosaurs. I'm back in my dinosaur phase, you know. I loved dinosaurs when I was a cub, but now I'm getting back into it, you know. Same with Digimon earlier this past year, where I was like, you know what I want to get back into? Digimon. So now it's the dinosaurs' turn. But I can also be into both at the same time, so who knows? Maybe we'll get some dinosaur Digimon drawings in there. I'll be in and out, have fun. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, this is the time where you guys need to be, if you guys need to be in and out, this is the perfect time. If you guys want to dual wield me with like another streamer that you're watching, that's totally fine. Or if you need to just like go and come back, that's also fine as well. Because I'm going to be muted. There's not going to be much happening over here, but you guys are still free to speak in the chat. You guys are still free to use your commands to make your little avatar, your stream avatars do things like jump and attack each other and whatnot. But I'm going to be muted, and then for the second focus break, I might teach you what I've learned, but we'll see how far I get in the online class. So that's what's going to be happening. Let's see. That whale plushie looks like it's going to sneeze on your head. Wait, I want to see. It does. It's like, achoo! And I'll be like, Babinkubs, why is there hair gel in my head? But yeah, is fish not meat? Yeah, it is. It is. I misspoke. I do still eat the fish. But okay, with that, let me start the timer. I'm gonna mute. And I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. All right, that was already our first study sesh. That went by kind of quick. Man, I take off the mute. Oh, mutey stuff. There we go. All right, so that was session 1 out of 3. Oh no, my camera keeps on like trying to autofocus. But yeah, if I forgot midway through that, like, oh yeah, I have my hand cam set up. Wait, let me make it so that my hand cam doesn't keep on trying to autofocus. I thought I turned that off, but sometimes things just be happening. It be doing things. Camera control. Oh, it's not. Oh, it is on autofocus. Stop that. Stop it. So yeah, I was taking this online course on a platform called Coursera. It just has a bunch of like classes on it. Not all of them are free. This one that I'm taking right now is called Dino 101. And it's about like paleobiology, basically like the biology of dinosaurs, basically. And it's a free course, so that's why I wanted to check it out. So I'm doing that right now. I'm on the section on skeleton, so that's why you know, I turned on my webcam so that you can see me. I'm trying to draw some of the skeletons. It's not perfect by any means, but it's my best attempt thus far. Skeletons are also just hard to draw. Especially if you're not too experienced in it. But these notes are actually notes that I took the first day that I was taking the class. I got like, I think halfway through the chapter on skeletons and then I had to stop because work stuff came up. But yeah, in terms of like what I learned so far, let's see, specific characteristics. Oh yeah, so there's like a specific set of characteristics to denote what a dinosaur is, such as the presence of an air. Oh yeah, so we learned a little bit about the skull structure. So let's see if we can like zoom in on my little doodle in the top. Oh yeah, it's not gonna autofocus, that's right. But you can kind of see I did my best attempt at like some kind of theropod dinosaur. I want to say a T-Rex. Let's see, when the animals that would become reptiles separated, evolutionarily speaking, from the animals that would become mammals, some of the things that you can do to kind of like identify what would become a reptile, what would become like a mammal is, for one, count the holes in the skull, right? So like, if you find out where like the eye hole is, that's what's called the orbit. That's the opening for the eyes. I also did like a little skull drawing over here. So like you're in like a human skull, for example. I should also learn how to draw bear skulls. You have like the opening for the eyeballs, which is called the orbit. And then you have the opening for the nose holes, which is called the nares. All right. So in this like presumably T-Rex skull, you have like the eye hole is over here. The nose hole is like over here. And then within lizards and things that would become like, or reptiles rather, things that would become like reptiles, dinosaurs, lizards, etc. They have multiple holes in addition to their orbits and their nares. So for example, let me read through my notes here. Oh yeah, these openings, anything that's not an orbit or a nares is called a fenestrae. So behind this T-Rex skull, there's one big opening here called, I believe it's laterotemporal. And then you can't really see it because this is kind of like a profile view, but on top there would also be another opening known as the supratemporal. So there's two openings behind the eyeballs, and then there's one opening in front of the eyeballs. That's called the antorbital. Antorbital. Yeah, antorbital. The course is pretty cool because it also like has you test out your knowledge in terms of like, all right, which one of the holes in the skull is the antorbital? Which one is the supratemporal? So it helped me a lot. You might even notice in the chat I even put like a little website that shows like the final part of the skeleton portion was I essentially had to assemble a T-Rex skeleton, and they're grouped together so you don't have to put like every single bone in its proper place, but it's just like, oh, put the vertebrae next to each other, put the skull where it should be, etc, etc. So that's pretty cool. That's also something I've seen in a lot of like dinosaur mini games too, or like dinosaur video games, like PC video games from like the 90s, where it's like, oh, assemble this dinosaur, because it goes hand in hand with like the idea of like, you know, paleontology, putting these like findings together. But let's see, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So yeah, dinosaurs usually have like the air sinus hole, And the legs are usually pulled under its body. So what that means is that like if you look at, say, like lizards, sometimes their legs are sprawling out. They're not usually under the body, they're usually like at the sides of the body. And that's because they don't always need to move super fast, because they can get a lot of energy just from being in the sunlight. But also they need to eat. That's also like a good source of energy, is like eating, right? Because the class also gets into the whole difference between like endo and ectothermic, also known as like cold-blooded, hot-blooded. So if you're a cold-blooded creature, you get some of your energy just by sitting in the sun, meaning that you don't always have to eat as often as needed. You know, you don't need to eat as much, or when you do eat, that will last you for a while because you're not expending a lot of energy. You eat and you go rest in the sunlight. You know, that's your energy intake for the day. However, that means that how do I say this? Let me see if I'm understanding this correctly. In the case of like hot-blooded or ectothermic creatures, such as mammals, such as you and I, assuming that some of you guys are humans, some of you guys are bears, some of you guys are other, we are warm-blooded in that, okay, what's like the order of operations here? They will need to expend energy hunting their food or getting their food from like plants, you know, like basically they need to seek out food in order to like consume it. So that expends a lot of energy, meaning that you have to eat a lot, but also that like energy that you get from eating is like enough of your energy intake. I'm not doing a great job of explaining it properly, but just know there is a difference between hot and cold-blooded creatures. So dinosaurs, they'll usually have their legs pulled out under its body. And then there's different types of like categories within dinosaurs too, like theropods or ornithopods. I don't know what this one is, thyrophoran. And regardless of whether they are theropods or ornithopods, which I'm assuming the class will teach me what those are later. They share certain characteristics, including teeth that grow in sockets like crocodiles, and erect limbs like mammals and birds. So our limbs are upright in many cases. And then the person that first categorized the idea of like dinosaurs, that even came up with the word like dinosauria, is a guy named Sir Richard Owen. This was back in 1842. Let's see what else we have. There was a chapter on size, dinosaur size, because a lot of dinosaurs are known for being, you know, massive, very big, like, you know, your long-necked dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Diplodocus. You have also your, your apex predators like Tyrannosaurus, Carnotaurus, etc., etc. So a lot of the bones that we have are of huge dinosaurs, but that isn't to say that all dinosaurs were huge. It's just more of, if you guys are familiar with survivorship bias, which is, what's that like image with like the airplane, and it has like, these are the airplanes that like came back from the war, and they have like, you know, all these bullet shot like holes in certain parts, but it still survived, as opposed to the airplanes that didn't come back because they were shot in places like the engine, you know? In the case of dinosaurs, the survivorship bias is that like big bones are more likely to fossilize, and little bones aren't as likely. So a lot of the bones that we have are those of like big creatures, big dinosaurs. But there were also little dinosaurs. It's just that their bones weren't as likely to fossilize and like hold up for millions of years before people found them. So there were little ones. Let's see, weight of dinosaurs can be hard to determine sometimes. But we do have some surviving fossils from small dinosaurs, and they could be as small as a chicken. They could be as small as a chicken. Ain't that cool? Arguably, though, I think a lot of people consider birds to be dinosaurs. They are part of, like, Dinosauria, in a way. They're, like, the only surviving members of Dinosauria, if you think about it. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, no, they're like, you know, relatives of dinosaurs, but it's more so like, oh, no, they are the descendants of dinosaurs. Another thing, I don't know if this class or some of the other, like, YouTube videos that I watched went over it, but, what is fossilization? Because for a while, like even when I was a kid, I didn't really grasp what that was. I just thought it was dinosaur bones, right? Like what we're seeing at these like natural history museums and whatnot are the bones of dinosaurs. Technically, they're not. Technically, what it is that an animal, like a dinosaur, will die and then get buried really quickly. The meat might be gone. It might be already scavenged by like scavenger dinos and creatures and whatnot. But the bones will remain. They'll get buried, preferably quickly. And then over the course of millions of years, the surrounding minerals and sediments will eventually like replace the bones. So it's almost like the bones are turning into like minerals. But it's more so that like the like shape of those bones are being replaced by nearby minerals and I think sediments. So actually, the fossils are not the actual bones themselves, but the imprint, the memory of those bones in the earth, made out of earth almost. So that's what fossils are, and that's why like the whole process of fossilization isn't always like indicative of all of the life that existed millions and millions of years ago. It's just more so like what just so happened to like survive the fossilization process, because it's very possible that there were there are things that don't fossilize as easily. So like flesh, cartilage, like the kind of things that make up the skeletons of like manta rays and sharks. Trying to think of what else, like soft tissue. Right? A lot of people, when they talk about like paleontology and like trying to recreate animals, a lot of people talk about the example of like an elephant skull. If you were to look at the skull of an elephant, it looks, it's missing, for example, like the ears of the elephant and the trunk of the elephant. That's because the ears and the trunk are made of soft tissue. So that's not gonna preserve in the bone, unless the elephant was like mummified. But those are things that are missing from the fossil record, is that soft tissue. So that means that like some of these dinosaurs could have had like soft tissue. They could have had, like, if you think about a turkey, turkeys have those little wattles under their beaks, right? The little like fleshy parts. I think roosters too. Well, that's another thing, like the comb of a rooster, the like part of the rooster like on its head, that would probably be lost in fossilization too. So if people were trying to recreate, let's say that aliens are like trying to recreate what roosters look like, or turkeys, they would be missing out on like the wattles or the combs. Trying to think of what else. Well, feathers too. That's why for a long time dinosaurs were for the most part considered to just be like overgrown lizards, essentially, overgrown reptiles. But we're now getting, ever since like the 2000s and well, actually even before that, but it started to get more popular in the 2000s and 2010s, this idea of like, oh, a lot of them were feathered. A lot of them have feathers, because while the feathers themselves might have not like survived the fossilization process, they might have like faded away with time. You still see where those feathers would have attached to a bone, and you might also, if you're lucky, the fossil might also show like imprints of the feathers. So we're improving our knowledge of dinosaurs by the day. We're finding out even like some of those feathers even have like I'm not sure how it works, but like there's certain cells in the feather that even determines what color it was. So we're even figuring out what colors certain dinosaurs were, what textures they might have had. So at the end of the day, our prediction of how dinosaurs looked is very like it's a mixed bag, and you know, it's never going to be like 100% accurate, but more and more paleontologists and people that study dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures, they're getting better and better guesses, so to speak. So yeah, that's my spiel on dinosaurs. I think I went over, well, there's more like skeletal stuff, but I also think our ad break is going to be coming up soon, and I do need to use the little bear's room. So let's see, went over the orbits, the nares, the fenestrae. There's also different parts of vertebrae, which is like your backbone. The vertebrae that are closest are like that make up your neck are what's called cervical, your back vertebrae are your dorsal, your hip vertebrae are your sacral, and then for animals with tails, the tail vertebrae is called caudal. And then dinosaurs also have belly ribs, which are called gastralia, like Australia but with gas. So gastralia. So, when it came time for— oh, was that already the end of the break? I heard a cuckoo. Okay, let me pause the timer on that for now, because we have an ad break coming up soon. Yeah, and then the rest of it was just me learning about the arm and the leg muscles. So when it came time to assemble the dinosaur skeleton, it's basically like a summary of the chapter, where it's like, all right, identify the sacral vertebrae and the caudal vertebrae and the orbits and the nares and all that stuff. So it's a pretty good chapter. So we do have another study session coming up, but we also have an ad break. So I'm gonna put you guys over in the cub corner. We'll play a little bit of music. Oh, I'm floating. There we go. I'm floating. We'll play some Chapel Rowan for you guys, and I'll be back in about 3 minutes to start our next study sesh. So see you guys then. Okay, we're back. I was getting some snackies from the kitchen. Got myself a cookie, a Christmas cookie. So I'm chilling right now. So let me turn off the Chapel Rowan, much as I love her. We're gonna go back to our study session. Next chapter looks like we're learning about like very specific types of dinos, so I'm pretty excited for that. So that'll be another 30 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and yap for another 15. All right, so I'll see you guys then. Alright, that was our second study sesh. I learned a lot from that one. I did predict that we would learn more about like specific types of dinosaurs, and I was right. So hopefully y'all had a good focus sesh. Let me go back to my notes here. I did more drawing. I feel like it just like helps me memorize things better if I'm able to like draw certain things. They're not great, but I feel like they still show what they need to show. So where are we? Oh yeah, we were talking about skeletons last time. There's a little bit more skeleton anatomy stuff, which like I'm kind of thankful that like if you ever like take a formal art class, they do have you go through anatomy. But of course it's more likely to be human anatomy. Where's the bear anatomy? That's all I ask, you know? How come there's no bear anatomy? Anyway. But you do learn a little bit of like human anatomy when you take like life drawing or anything like that in like say a college course. So you start to kind of get familiarized with certain bones. I feel like you're more likely to know certain bones if you study something more like biology or like something in the medical field, but I was like familiar with some of these, but not all of them. So that's why things like, oh, the humerus bone and the iliac crest and the pubic bone and blah, 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 like somewhat familiar, but not like, oh, I know where that is in the human body. But this section that I just went through goes over, like there's a lot of ways to divide dinosaurs into like different categories. And the first kind of like big division is what's called Saurischia and Ornithischia. Saurischia, Ornithischia. So Saurischia means bird-hipped, as in like the way that you differentiate between these two like big groups of dinosaurs is like their hip bones. So one of them has hip bones that are more like a lizard. The other one has hip bones that are more like a bird's hips. However, it's a little misleading because the animals that would, the species that would evolve into birds are actually lizard-hipped. So even the lesson itself was like, oh, just so you know, it's a little confusing, but birds evolved from the lizard-hipped dinosaurs, not from the bird-hipped dinosaurs. But eventually, like, I think their hips would evolve similar to this, but like in like convergent evolution. So it is a little bit confusing at first, but once you get it, you got it. This chapter starts off first with like Saurischia, so like the lizard hip dinosaurs. But I did also take some time to like try and label each part of the hips, just so that I like remembered there's like specifically a pubic bone that is like very different between the lizard and the bird hip dinos. So like in the lizard hip, it points more towards the front. Within bird hip dinosaurs, it points more to the back. And a later chapter goes over why that is, but for now, all we need to worry about is like, yeah, the two hips kind of look like that. And then in terms of Saurischian dinosaurs, these are the lizard hip ones. They're divided into two bigger groups, or sorry, they're further divided into like two subgroups. So one of them is the sauropods. Sauropods are the long-necked dinos. So if you remember the long necks from Land Before Time, you know, like Littlefoot, that's an example of a sauropod. So Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Diplodocus. I'm trying to think of like other ones. There's one called like Giraffatitan. Which, like, what a sick name. What a sick name that is. Giraffatitan. It's like a type of titan you would see in like Attack on Titan, you know? So yeah, sauropods are an example of a lizard hip dinosaur. They got thick legs, complex vertebrae, and then it says here the vertebrae, they're like backbone. Some of them have notches, which imply that they used to have air sacs, which like, that's interesting. I think it explains why I've seen a couple of like interesting illustrations here and there where these paleo artists, these people who like try to kind of recreate what a dinosaur might have looked like, I've seen some where they put like these like air sacs on the necks of sauropods. It looks very alien, but then again, that's just how the planet be sometimes, just making things that look very strange by our eyes. So that's a neat idea. I don't know, like, you know, how much water it holds, but those are sauropods. And then the other big group within Saurischia, within the lizard hip dinos, are called theropods. I associate theropods with like T-Rex, but this class says that actually they're very diverse. Like it's very hard to just pin them down of like, oh yeah, they all look like Tyrannosaurus, because it says here that they're very diverse. Some of them are carnivorous, some of them are omnivorous, and some of them are even herbivorous, as in like they eat plants and plant matter. So that was surprising to me. I kind of thought theropods were just like T-Rex and Carnotaurus and all these like sharp-toothed dinos that terrorize the Cretaceous and whatnot. So theropods also include the only living descendants of dinosaurs, which is birds, as we talked about before. So birds are considered theropods, Saurischian dinosaurs. So yeah. Let's see, it says here all theropods walked on hind legs. They usually, a lot of them have 3 clawed fingers, but some of them might have 2. Like T-Rex only has 2. And then he said the name of a specific dinosaur that only has 1 claw, like 1 finger. I didn't quite catch it, but it was like, oh, okay, there's some 1-fingered dinos there. And then some of them have horns, some of them have beaks. Of course, because like I said, these are the dinosaurs that would evolve into birds. And then there's also like a third smaller group within Saurischians called the prosauropods. And I'm not sure if they're like the ancestors to the sauropods, to the long neck dinosaurs, but it says here they were also like pretty relatively short-lived, so in like the fossil record. So they didn't survive. They probably still survived for like millions of years, but just not as like far-flung as say like the long neck dinosaurs and the T-Rexes were. So there's that. I started the chapter on ornithischians, the bird hip dinosaurs. This chapter just starts off with like how to identify it from like a Saurischian. Linhenicus. Maybe, let me look that up. Let's look it up. Ooh, yeah, I think that might be it. That might be it. They look like ostriches, but with like a little finger. I think you're onto something. I think that is what that was. Thank you, Isurugi. Oh god, I just googled it too, and these artistic renditions are very interesting. They have like, they're like in deserts and stuff. I do like the little nubby claws that they have. This is so cute. Let me see if I can show you guys what I'm looking at. Here, mini browser. Turn this off. Look at that! Look at that! That's so cute! I like that he's just like, huh? And then I was looking at these too. Let's see what this says. First one-fingered dinosaur found. Dug for bugs? I like the title. Dug for bugs? I like the design too. Is this implying that they— oh man! No, I want to read the art. Dang you, National Geographic. Darn you straight to heck. But yeah, so apparently there are some theropods with just 1 finger, like Linhenicus. He looks goofy, he really does. He's just like, huh? Huh? Where was I? Yeah, so that's an example of a lizard hip dinosaur. The ornithischians are bird hipped, and these are your like big dinos, you know, like the sauropods were also big, but think of like Triceratops, Parasaurolophus, the duck-billed. Once again, if you're thinking about like Land Before Time, I think the rest of the crew are all what we talked about. What, Littlefoot? Littlefoot is a sauropod. Oh my god, what was the name of the little sharp tooth? The little like T-Rex? I forgot. I just remember the big water. I think the rest of the crew is all ornithischians, because your Triceratops is ornithischian. Stegosaurus. What is the duck-billed one again? I forgot her. It's not Sarah. Sarah is the Triceratops, but the Ducky, she's also an ornithischian. Am I forgetting? Oh, the pterosaur. Okay, there's also a pterosaur in Land Before Time, but that's technically not a dinosaur. Same with like ichthyosaurs. Like if they fly or swim, they're not usually dinosaurs. They're a type of reptile, but they're not dinosaurs. So yeah, that's what I got so far. What do I have here? Yeah, so ornithischians, they have a pubic bone that points backwards, and then they have a special bone in their lower jaw called a predentary. So that means that some of them have beaks, essentially. So they independently develop beaks, while the other dinosaurs, the lizard hip dinosaurs, also develop beaks, which I think is pretty cool. So like you independently develop beaks to essentially like shear grass. I actually don't know if grass was a thing at this point, but plant life. I think so. It's weird because now that I've been like studying prehistory and stuff, it's wild to think that there was ever a time where there wasn't grass. Like, what would dinosaurs touch, you know? There's also a time before dinosaur arc. Yes, hello Matthew. Yes, I'm on my dinosaur arc. I'm actually taking like an online class right now, and I'm just going through what I've learned so far before our last focus session in about 4 minutes. But yeah, it's fun learning more about them because, like I said before, like this is something that I've been into since I was a cub. But now that I have, you know, more brain in my brain, so you could brain while you brain. Now that I can, you know, understand some of these like concepts a little bit better, it's fun to like learn about like, oh, the different like subdivisions of dinosaurs, what separates them, what is it, like, why is it that like this thing is considered a dinosaur and say like pterosaurs are not, you know, or pterodactyl, saber-tooth tiger, triceratops, mastodon. I'm trying to remember like the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger like dinos. Tyrannosaurus. You have to remember like the exact way they say it too. Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops, saber-tooth tiger, pterodactyl, mastodon. And then you had the Green Ranger with the dragon. And he had the little like knife that is also a flute, the one that you go like do 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 do. Wait, is that how it went? Oh well. Anyway, wait, what is that emote? Is that Kiet? Gremlin eating cereal. Aw, I love that. Let's see, what else with ornithischians? Oh yeah, so there's 5 lineages, but that's where I had to stop for the rest break because he went over hadrosaurs, which are like the duck-billed dinos. And then I talked a little bit about ornithopods. Kiripia Raptor Girl got gifted. Yeah, I think she is. I remember seeing her standee at Offkai this past year. Which, by the way, if you guys are going 2026, I'm probably gonna be there. I'm not as confident though if I'm still gonna do my little like. I did say that I wanted to do a panel, or not a panel, but like a workshop at the next Offkai, but I'm not so sure anymore. I feel like I was very confident last year, or this past year rather, and now I'm like, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like I can definitely talk on like the intersection of being an educator and being a VTuber, because my initial idea was like, oh, I'm gonna talk about how you can turn your hyperfixation into like an educational stream, but I don't know, I feel like there might be people out there that do a little better. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking and thonking. But maybe. Mayhaps. Perhaps. Yeah, that's where I got to so far. So when we get to the last study session of the day, I think we're going to finish off this chapter on ornithischians? Ornithischians. There we go. Ornithischians, and then the next chapter... Oh, I don't know if I'll finish the next chapter. It's all about appearance, dinosaur appearance. So we'll see. We'll see. But it'd be cool if I could finish this module basically. Go for it. Won't know till you try. That's true. I do like hello epically modest. Hello. I do like facilitating workshops. You know, I've done it before in like the Filipino American sphere. Hello epically modest. I was talking about Offkai, the VTuber convention that usually happens in like late spring, early summer. I'm gonna be going next year, and I was thinking about leading a workshop on how to turn your hyperfixation into an educational stream, as I like to usually do. But we'll see if that's something I end up doing. I do like facilitating workshops. I like making them very interactive because I feel like there's too many workshops out there that are just like, listen to me lecture. And of course, If it's a good topic, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me pause this while I finish my thought. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you like are the kind of person that just wants to like passively listen and learn. I mean, that's kind of what's going on here with streaming. All in all, is like you're essentially listening to someone yap, maybe sometimes lecture on like an educational topic. But I do like, at least if people are going to be in person, I do like my workshops to be a little bit more like involved, a little bit more interaction. So usually I like people to like move around a little bit. Usually like I have those kinds of it's those like cringy team building activities that like corporate offices do, you know, where it's like, all right guys, let's do a SWOT analysis. Let's talk about our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I am a little bit of a sucker for those types of activities, which might not be everyone's jam, but we'll see. Well, I'll try to make it something enjoyable, because like I said, I have experience with doing this in like the Filipino American sphere of things, but not so much with the VTuber sphere. So we'll see. Maybe it would just be better to just lecture and go from there, or maybe even at least do like a pair share. You know, it's like, all right, talk to the person next to you. Or maybe just something that like people can do solo. Maybe they don't have to interact with other people if they're like anxious, right? It could be like, here's a little worksheet to help you plan your next educational stream, you know? We'll see. I'm just spitballing. But with that, it is time for our last study session of the day. This is our last 30 minutes. I'm studying up on ornithischian dinosaurs, our bird-hipped ones. And I'll be muted once again, but at the end of the 30 minutes, I'm gonna tell you guys what I learned about, and I think we'll call it from there. All right, because it is almost, it's 2 o'clock my time. The ad break is probably going to hit during the study session. I'm not gonna stop my studying during the ad break. But just be aware, like, I would hate if you guys were like really focused on something and then suddenly you get an ad and it's just super loud and recess buffs. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. So just be forewarned that within the next 5 minutes or so, there's going to be an ad break. Okay, 2026. Yeah, if you guys go. Oh, it's 2 p.m. I live in PST. I live in Pacific Standard Time. I take it I should get my hotel and plane tickets now. Yeah, I actually haven't gotten my hotel yet. Or my tickets, actually. I just know that I want to go. So... But yeah, if you have the means for it, if you're already thinking about like off-kai, I would say, yeah, feel free, go for it. Me and Beans got a hotel that was relatively close to the convention center last time, so we're just gonna hope that that's still available by the time we swing around to it. I thought your sleep schedule was as screwed as Milky's. Nah, I live in PST, so it's the afternoon right now, and after this, me and my partner Beans are probably gonna go get lunch. Maybe even, well, I don't know, I feel like it's a dangerous game to try and do some Christmas shopping the last weekend before Christmas. It's probably gonna be like crazy business out there. But yeah, my sleep schedule's pretty well. I can't afford to sleep as late as I do anymore. I was gonna say it's an old person thing, but I think Milky is older than me actually. So or about the same age. I'm actually not sure, but I'm the kind of person that like I need to sleep before midnight because I have to get up super early for work. So I need it to be this way, or else I'm gonna be like a sleep deprived little bear. But yeah, with that, let us study. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes, and then we'll finish off our yapping. Oh yeah, my local time is in the corner. I was hiding it with the projector screen, but if you guys are ever curious about my local time, it's there in the lower left corner. Though it does get hidden when I put my projector screen, you know? Alright. I will talk to you guys in about half an hour. Once again, be aware of that ad break. It's probably coming in like 5 minutes. Less than. Where's the mute? Oh, here. Alright, that was our last study sesh for the day, and it actually worked out pretty well because I actually finished the module. I just have, I guess these online classes also have graded assignments. And it says here I have 3 attempts left. So I don't know if that's something I should do on stream. I feel like I should like study up on my notes. And I did take a lot of notes. Let's see, how many pages of notes do I have? Let me just... see, starts from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages of notes. I took quite a lot of notes. Gotta lock in, exactly. So I don't think I should do that right now on stream. I think the rest of our time together should just be chillin', maybe even moshing. And then we'll probably leave it at that. But that was good. Yeah, I learned a lot from that session. We continued learning about the ornithischian dinosaurs. So there's 5 different types. All of which, like, if you've ever watched Land Before Time or, you know, wherever, like, even vaguely interested in dinosaurs, like, in the past or presently, you'll probably know what they are. So the first type is hadrosaurs. These are also your duck-billed dinosaurs. Maybe I can, like, actually give you guys some examples, too. Types of ornithischians. There's like 5 big groups, or at least that's how this class like divides them up. It's very possible that this has like changed since then. Actually, this image that I'm seeing right now divides them into 4. So put away the webcam. So in my notes, we have the duck-billed dinosaurs, the Triceratops types, the Stegosaurus types, and the Ankylosaur types. But it looks like this image combines the Hadrosaurs and the Pachycephalosauruses. So let's take a closer look at this thing. So these are your bird-hip dinosaurs. Once again, if you watch Land Before Time, you probably recognize the Ceratopsians and the Stegosaurus. This is Spike and this is Sarah, right? So you have your like 3-horned, like the dinosaurs with like frills, basically. They're usually kind of short. Same with the Stegosaurus. Stegosauruses usually have these like plates on like on their backs, as well as like sometimes they have spikes on their tails. All of these are herbivores, by the way. They are on a strictly vegetarian diet. So those are 2, and then I think Ceratopsians, they also have a beak. They have a cool little beak that helps them with shearing plants. Ankylosaurs are also part of the bird hip dinos. Fun fact, these like plates on their back, and then these like armor like thingies on the Ankylosaurus's like backs, they're both made of the same material. They're called osteoderms, and they're basically like skin bones. So these act as both armor for the dinosaurs for any like clawing or biting, you know, predators. But they can also absorb, like, there might be some theories that like they can also absorb sunlight a little bit better, as well as act as a source of calcium, and might even be used for display or intimidation. I know I'd be intimidated if I saw a creature with a clubbed tail or a spiked tail, you know? Same with the Ceratopsians and their horns as well. So there's that, and then your ornithopods. Ornitho means like bird, pod means feet, so like your bird-footed dinos. These are your duck-billed dinosaurs. These are your Parasaurolophus. These are your Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus is the one with like a big old bone on top of its head that they use to like headbutt each other. But it's also used for identification, according to this lesson. So it seems like these ones are more likely to be like upright, though sometimes they also graze on all 4s. But yeah, these are kind of like the big groups of the bird hip dinosaurs. The next chapter after that was all about appearance. So if all we have left of dinosaurs is their fossils, how do we know, you know, like what they look like when they still had skin and muscles, right? So there's a couple of different ways. One of the ways is there are actually dinosaur mummies. And before I show that, let me see if I can find one. Dinosaur mummy. Like, these are very rare specimens in which they, like, were... because what usually happens is a dinosaur dies. Usually its skin and muscles get scavenged by, you know, other scavenger dinos or creatures and stuff. But sometimes in very, very rare cases, they'll get buried before their skin and muscles, you know, get get eaten away. And when that happens, sometimes it will leave a skin impression. I think this is probably one of the first. I think this is one of the first. Here we go. Like dinosaurs with like a skin impression left in the fossil, so you can actually see like the scales on it. In the case of like scaled dinosaurs, here we go. The mummy of a juvenile Edmontosaurus. So I think this is a relatively new one, but the very first like mummified dinosaurs they found in like 1910 in like Wyoming. Is this the first one? It's pretty cool. So in rare cases, you do get like impressions of the skin. This is probably like the best quality I've ever seen of like a dinosaur mummy. This one looks like it's, you know, this one just looks like it's sleeping, right? So this one I think was so well intact. It says here that even it even had like intact skin and organs. That's crazy because this is something that's like 110 million years old. Yeah, that's really cool, right? So let's see, there's that. What else is in my notes? Oh yeah, feathers is the big one. So feathered dinosaurs. So if we compare, give me a second. Feathered velociraptor. So yeah, if you watched Jurassic Park as a kid, you probably were exposed to the idea of velociraptor being these like essentially big lizards that stand on their hind legs, kind of closely like this. But we have fair enough evidence nowadays to point to the fact that velociraptors were one, smaller, like way smaller. They're like the size of a turkey, but they also most likely had feathers. I like these renditions the most. The turkey size. No cookies. Fine. Some cookies. Come on. Okay, there we go. So yeah, they're smaller and they look like this. And I think in some ways they're cuter, but I also think in some ways they can also be very terrifying. Once again, I keep saying this, but for people that think that feathered dinosaurs wouldn't be scary, look at a cassowary. These are still living birds that, you know, they definitely feel like dinosaurs in their own way. So we know that certain dinosaurs had feathers because in some of the bones that were left behind, or rather the impressions of bones left behind, you saw where the feathers would attach to the bone. But sometimes, just like how skin can sometimes leave an impression on the fossilized rock, feathers too could sometimes also be like the impression of that could also be left behind as well. So that's not to say that every dinosaur was feathered. We know that we have skin impressions from almost all of the bird hip dinosaurs, the Ornithischians, except for Pachycephalosaurus. At least at the time of making that class that I'm watching right now. Those are the only ones that we don't know what their skin texture was. Maybe they had feathers, maybe they didn't, but velociraptors did. There's clues that T-Rex might have, but what I've been seeing more of lately is people saying that they might have had feathers when they were babies, but once they get fully grown, they might not need those feathers anymore. At least I'm not sure. I think that's one of those things that still might be in the middle of being determined. I don't know for sure, but it's cool to think about. It's cool to think about. What else? Talked about osteoderms already, and then colors. Colors seems like that might be just something we're kind of guessing at, but apparently there are these cells called I wrote it down, eulanosomes. Where is it? Eumellanosomes. It has that root word there, like melanin, as in color. So these are cells that, like, if you observe them really carefully, like the size and shape of them can determine what color would have been on these feathers. In the case of feathered dinosaurs. So like they're able to determine, like, you know, certain species of velociraptors would have been brown with like white stripes. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to identify like the eumellanosomes for like red, green, and blue. But that's not to say that those colors didn't exist in dinosaur feathers. I think people just haven't found haven't deciphered that yet. And then lastly, the last chapter that I read up on is a chapter on mussels. This was a relatively short one. And it was the question of like, how can you interpret, for one, we might know like how they looked with their skin and their feathers, and we definitely know how their bones look. Well, not definitely, but what about their muscles? What about the underlying muscles? That is going to be a little bit harder to say, but there are a couple of sources that I found pretty interesting. One of them is coprolite, which is dino poop. That's right, we have fossilized dino poop, and the remains of this dino poop has, you know, it might have some undigested bits, including the muscle fiber of whatever the dinosaur ate. So for example, if you get the poop of like a T-Rex and it ate a velociraptor, you know, those muscle fibers are still going to be in that poop, and it's fossilized forever. So, well, not forever, but you know, for a long time. The bones might also have some like markings and striations on it, which imply like this is where the muscle was attached when it was still alive. And then lastly, some bones have bite marks on them, and some of the bite marks are so deep and they're so like kind of perfect. If you were to put like, you know, some kind of like molding material into it, you can make a mold of like a tooth of whatever bit into that dinosaur, into that bone. And that even having just that tooth will help paleontologists figure out like the bite force, and what kind of muscles are required for that bite force to happen, essentially. So yeah, dinosaur poop, striations on the bone, and then bite marks are different ways that we can kind of sort of tell like what the musculature was like on some of these dinosaurs. So I just think that's really neat. That we could tell so much, even if we don't have like really well preserved specimens, we can still figure out a lot just from bones, and just from fossils. So that's pretty neat. I feel like our understanding of dinosaurs is getting better and better by the year, you know? Exactly, Matthew. The poopy. The poopy boopy. But yeah, that is everything that I've learned so far from this class on dinosaurs. Once again, this is on a website called Coursera. Let me see if I can dig it up for you guys. No pun intended. Dino 101. It's free, so you just need to like make an account in order to access it. I'll put it here. If you guys are interested in also learning about dinos, I just finished the first module. I'm not sponsored by them at all. This is just me having a hyperfixation. And it's all like a flexible schedule. Even though I do have like a module that says like, oh, this is due on the 22nd. I feel like I should be fine even if I submit it late. But yeah, that's dinosaurs, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about dinosaurs as much as I have. I am getting pretty hungry, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. We are still gonna mosh though, so thanks for those that were you know, hopefully if you guys stayed the whole time and were studying or focusing alongside me, hopefully this was a productive day for you. If not, if you were in and out, that's totally fine as well. I totally get it. You getting college credits for these classes? I think some of them do offer credits, some of them even offer certificates, but this one in particular doesn't because it's a free class. I feel like they probably offer those for like the classes that you have to pay for. So I have been thinking of taking video editing classes and education, like early education classes on Coursera. Haven't decided for sure because I'm pretty sure I have to pay for those. But for now, like this is a free class. I'm down to take it. That's like less stress on me, you know. You get in a nice title of Dino 101 Nerd in Meat Space. Exactly. I get bragging rights. And what's better than that, really? I could at least say like, I took a course, so I know a little thing or two about dinosaurs. Like, yeah, exactly. It's like an achievement in FF14. Speaking of, I think, I don't know what time, if they're already live. Hold on, let me stop raids. I think there is gonna be a Little Guys collab. If it's not happening now, it might be happening soon. I don't see it happening right now. Yeah, I don't see it happen right now, but I do know that I think there is going to be a Little Guys collab soon. Wait, is it soon? I don't want to spoil just in case like they haven't announced it publicly. I just know that it's happening. But yeah. Before I accidentally spoil anything, let's go ahead and mosh and then we'll go ahead and raid and then I'll see you guys sometime next week. So let's see, who do we got here? I've been listening to a lot of Little V Mills recently. Not live, videos. So listen to that. Do we want to do K-pop Demon Hunters? What else? They have some really good covers. I've been really digging their covers. Let's do Dun Dun Dun. Dun 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 dun. But yeah, so let's go ahead and mosh. If you guys have never moshed with us before, all you gotta do is when you hear the music, spam your favorite emotes and I'm gonna make your little avatars fight each other. There's no correlation between how many emotes you spam and who wins the mosh pit. Collab is tomorrow 1 p.m. ET. Ah, okay, I see. Thank you, Matthew, thank you. But yeah, it's not rigged. That's all I gotta say. It's not. Let me stop the music. Dun 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 dun. Oh, never mind. You can't hear the music. I realized I turned off my browser music, so you can't hear it. How's this? There you go. Dun 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 dun. Guabra. Oh man, for this round it's just us two, Matthew, so it's not gonna be rigged, right? It's not gonna be rigged, right? Dagda, hello, you're just in time for the mosh pit. For this round, I think it's just me and Matthew, but you'll be joining in next round. Hey. Hey. It's not rigged. It was just you and me. It's just you and me. It was a 50-50 shot. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. Dun 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 dun. I didn't realize it was so short. Let's do one more song. Running in the 90s. There we go. Because we gotta have Dagda join in this time. Alright, there we go. We have ample time for this. I think we're gonna raid into Folk. Our fellow bear VTuber. He's a wizard bear. Hell yeah. I know who's getting the med kit. Is it me? Yeah. Oh my god, the little Fisher Price car. Oh no, not me getting the med pack twice in a row. Oh no, you guys are gonna, dang it. The 90s. We have time for one more round. We have time for one more round. Running in the 90s. For sure. Third round's the charm, right? For sure, for sure. Rig times 2. Running in the 90s. Is that really the lyrics? That's crazy. Was that always the lyrics? Run, Dagda, run! It goes to Matthew. In the 90s. Is that really the lyrics? I know the run in the 90s is part of the lyrics, but the cyber sex part? Was that really like part of the lyrics? Running in the 90s. It's not rigged. It's not. See, I didn't. If I had won 3 times in a row, then you could say it's rigged. But it's not. It's not. Show me your proof. Show me your moves. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Alrighty, let's go ahead and raid out, shall we? I'm gonna get some food. I'll see you guys next week. We have more streaming time hopefully because I'm on Christmas break now, or winter break. It would be rigged times 3. It's not though, it's not. But thanks for tuning into the study sesh. I appreciate you guys. We're gonna go ahead and start that raid. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. And as always, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye-bye. Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye-bye. We raid.